So, producer Matt said we got new lights.
Yeah.
Could you tell?
I didn't really notice too much.
Oh, it looks the same to me. Hi, and welcome to This is Gravel. I am Bobby Thompson, and with me is Leland Danes, as always. I'm actually going to ask a question that I think I'm going to get the answer I want this time. Leland, what's been going on lately in your life?
I rode my bike.
That's what I was waiting for.
2 times.
2 times? How far did you ride?
Yeah, well, last Friday, I had the privilege of getting out with Mr. Kurt Shellman of Chamois Butter.
Right.
Butter makes it better.
Love it when Kurt comes to town. Yep.
Yeah, and he was picking some supplies up, and we thought, hey, why do all this work and not take at least one afternoon to have some fun? So we went out and did the Vitamin G route.
Yeah.
For those familiar, you can go to dirtykanzapromotions.com and find gravel routes. Shameless plug there. And then Sunday, I got out with my wife, and we went up to Emmett, Kansas, where her family hails from, and we did some exploring on new roads, and I got to tell you, it was fantastic.
Where is Emmett, Kansas at?
It is up north of St. Mary's.
Okay.
If you're familiar, just about 20, 30 miles north of I-70.
Okay.
And they have some great riding. So, I've been wanting for how long to say that I've actually gone for a ride.
You know, it's pretty bad when producer Matt is totally kicking your butt on distance and,
I know.
and quantity of rides.
The mileage is. So, stoked for that. And then if you hold me to it, hopefully you and I will be going for a ride next week. So.
We will. We're going to go out and do a little jaunt around the cow pastures next week. So, yeah, it'll be fun. So, I'm just waiting.
Oh, but what have you been up to?
There we go. You know, we have this whole thing where I ask you and then you say, hey, I'm doing great, I'm doing wonderful, and that's it. So, now that you've asked, I'm glad that you asked.
Because we want to know.
Yeah, you know, the most important thing in my life in the past few weeks is I did a little Thursday night group family ride last week for ice cream. So,
now that I am sad to have missed.
There was a day last week when I did get lost, took a wrong turn, and ended up doing 206 miles out there in the Flint Hills with a bunch of friends. So that was a good day. I came back and they said, you realize that was the Dirty Kanza? And I was like, had no idea. So that was good. It was a good time. But we'll talk about Dirty Kanza coming up. Gravel Expo.
Yes. Yes. Well, Dirty Kanza has expanded beyond just a one-day ride. It's a whole weekend of event activities and stuff going on. And it starts really with that Friday Expo that coincides with the sign-in all-day Friday.
Right.
And I thought it was fantastic this year. Good weather always helps, but we had great support from our sponsors and great participation and lots to do. And certainly a lot of people came out and got to see that and participated, which is wonderful.
Okay. Got a little film on it coming up?
Yeah, producer Matt was able to do some walking around with the camera.
Leland, kind of give me an overview about what you've got going on downtown Emporia today.
Well, in case you didn't know, we are downtown at the All Things Gravel Expo. We have sponsors galore out here on the 0-100 block of West 8th Avenue. So 8th Avenue between Merchant and Commercial. There are games, there are spinny wheels and swag galore, food vendors, a lot of activities going on.
What's some of the coolest things you've seen out here today?
Oh goodness, what haven't I seen? One thing I'm really excited about, SRAM has brought some live trackers this year. They have selected 50 riders who will wear these, and this is true live tracking, so not just at the checkpoints when the riders get there, but all throughout the day you can tune in, and that's at quarkrace.com, QUARQ race.com, and you can follow along with those riders. It's really cool.
Yeah, I think our cohort Bobby actually gets to be one of those riders this year.
Yes, the casual cyclist is from the show, you will recall, he will have one of those, and you can tune in and see how he's doing. And if you see him stationary and 0 miles per hour, you can be like, hey, get moving.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd love that attention.
Absolutely.
You know, Leland, as a race director, what's it mean to you to see all these people out here today?
You know, we work pretty darn hard, and you know, I think some folks don't realize what it takes to put this stuff on, but we spend all year, more or less, planning this one weekend event, and so that's a lot of work to only see the fruits of your labor for a weekend. So to now be here and to see it is so rewarding, and to see the community support it and these riders loving it, it means the world to us, and it's just going off without a hitch. We're loving it. It's a great time.
I'm here with Mike from SRAM. Mike, you've got some cool technology you're showing off here this weekend. Tell me a little bit about the Court Collector.
So the Court Collector is a unit which actually tracks for live tracking on events as well as training. But for this event, for Dirty Kanza, we have the course laid into a website, corkrace.com. People can go directly to that and track. Right now we have about 30 units that are out there. We'll probably have upwards of 40, almost 50 units by the end of the day today. But you'll be able to track anybody who has one of these units. It's also got the ability to train with training people that have Strava, or if you have Training Peaks, it'll upload directly to any of the training softwares as well. But for this purpose of Dirty Kanza, we're going to use it as live tracker, estimate of where they are. You'll also be able to, if they have a heart rate monitor, you'll be able to see that, as well as a power meter. If they've got the power meter, you'll be able to also have that information live feed up to the website. So you can really tell if somebody's suffering.
You know, how important do you think is having some of these live tracker technologies now for these events that are 100, 200 miles out there, where you really don't have spectators and out there on the field? How important do you think this is?
Oh, it's very important to any of the family members. From a personal level, if I go for a long bike ride, my girlfriend has the ability to track me anywhere I go. And so if I'm off one day and she's at work, she doesn't have to worry about whether or not I'm laying on the side of the road somewhere. But for these events, it absolutely is critical just to be able to have for support staff, to be able to see when they're coming into a checkpoint, how far away from the checkpoint they are. If they're stuck in one spot for too long, maybe we should go and check and see where they are and if they're okay. But that's definitely something that will help out in these events going forward.
Here with Paul Arrington. Paul, you ride Brooks. Why is that?
I just love the comfort. I mean, we're here promoting exclusively the Cambium range of saddles. And then these products in particular are really good on this surface, really good for gravel. Super durable. The material's inherently has a suspension to it, so it's comfortable. And unlike the traditional Brooks, these Cambiums are good to go out the box.
You know, you talk about the traditional Brooks. You know, last year I had a chance to demo one of these Cambiums when they came out. You know, with the other Brooks, didn't have a lot of time to wear in and some of those things you had to do to it before you could really get it comfortable, or...
Absolutely. Brooks is a classic product. I mean, people have owned Brooks for 20, 30 years, you know. They're absolutely durable, amazing, handmade in the UK, but you're right, they do need a period of time to break in. This is where I think the Cambium has its advantage, that straight out the box, these guys are ready to go.
You know, you talk about a seat and talk about the 20, 30 years with it. How important is it to find that perfect fit?
I mean, this is why the Cambium range comes in different widths, and this is why we're here allowing people to demo the saddles to try and to figure out what their happy place is on the saddle.
Cool. John, with Orange Seal, talk to me a little bit about what you guys have going on here today.
Well, we're doing a couple of things. We're setting up people with top-offs. We're doing top-offs if they've got Orange Seal and they want to just have it checked. We're doing a check for them free of charge. And then if people have the other guys, other sealants in there, and they want to convert because they've heard the good stuff about Orange Seal, then we'll convert it for them here today.
You know, John, the whole tubeless revolution is something fairly new in the gravel world. It seems like maybe a couple of years into it. Talk to me a little bit about some of the perks of maybe going tubeless if you've been running tubes.
Sure. So the big thing is you're not going to get flats. I mean, and you decrease your weight. You get rid of the tube. Now you're just running a little bit of sealant. You can run lower tire pressure. You don't have to worry about pinch flats. You can and have a softer ride because you're running lower tire pressure.
You know, I think one of the biggest debates that goes on with it is there some upfront cost when you go tubeless? You know, what would you respond to that? Because I know people debate, you know, you're buying tubes all the time. What's your response to that question?
I think you actually save money in the long run because you don't have to buy as many tubes. Yes, you got to buy sealant. You got to buy a tire that costs a little bit more. But generally, that tire is going to last till the knobs wear off, and the sealant, you just have to replenish it. If you use our endurance formula, it'll last up to 180 days, so you just have to replace it, or replenish it once, twice a year.
Cool, sounds great. Anything else you'd like to add about it?
No, we're excited to be here, and this is a great proving grounds for sealant, and we've really enjoyed our time here. Our athletes have had 0 flats in the last 3 years that we've been a part of this, so we're excited about it.
Duncan, one thing with gravel that always gets talked about is tire selection. What do you guys have to offer here today?
Yes, we've got our range here, the 3 gravel tires. The Rambler by far is the one that's got the widest range of use, and the one that I think I've seen probably 90% of our Maxxis riders here are on this tire this weekend. The Rambler is just a good, fast rolling, low tread height, but it's at the right pressure. It's still plenty of grip for the majority of gravel courses. On the faster side, they're the Refuse, which is just a super durable training tire, or you got a course that skews more towards smoother, faster surface. And then on the aggressive side, we have the Ravager, that's more looser conditions, or if you're going to take your gravel bike and hit some single track or something like that, it's just got a deeper tread depth and a big side knob for cornering in softer conditions.
Gravel's relatively new and taking off in the world type deal. How do you guys as Maxxis Tires really keep kind of evolving to grow with this industry?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously look to events like Dirty Kanza, Rebecca's Private Idaho, and then our athletes and things like that, see what they're doing, what kind of tires they're asking for. And I think we were fairly early with the Rambler, and then we've got more stuff in the pipeline as well. So just always looking for filling voids in our lineup, so that our athletes and consumers alike have a tire for every purpose.
Awesome, Matt. Thank you. I like how you guys strategically placed the expo between the registration, the theater, and the bike shop, so that you can't go to one or the other without passing by.
Yeah, it was this gravel Bermuda Triangle diamond of awesomeness, and so that was, you got to see the expo there in case you didn't see it in person. But there was so much else going on. Yeah. The sign-in itself was in a new venue at the History Center, which I think was fantastic, but it also exposes people to our newly renovated History Center. It freed the theater up to be used as a theater. Yes. So with sign-in out of there, we actually got to do some fun stuff in there. Tech Talk with Maxxis, Envy, and Orange Seal. Women's Roundtable with some amazing women, not just professional athletes, but one of our favorites, Wendy Davis, who up until this year was the only 5-time female finisher, but she is no longer in that club alone. But just an amazing athlete as well.
Absolutely.
We also got to show Blood Road, and while this wasn't a film festival, we couldn't give Reba any awards. She did confirm with us that it was the largest premiere in terms of audience size, and so thank you to Emporia for coming out and supporting that, not just for the one showing, but 2 separate showings. If you hadn't seen that yet, you can make a pre-order for the film, and I would highly encourage all people to do that. This is not just a cycling film. This is a humanitarian film. It's a great story, a compelling documentary that I think everyone should own, regardless of what you think about gravel cycling or cycling in general. And then, of course, Gravel City Adventure and Supply Company. This was year 1 of Dirty Kanza, with the retail store being opened across the street, and it was just hopping all day long over there. So much going on. Oh, and then a little ride, right? I
know, that was the crazy thing this year, is there was so much going on Friday. Even me personally had so many different events that I needed to be at about every hour and a half, and everything took about 45 minutes. So you had not much of a gap in between. And then you finally get home at about, I think we got home at 7:30 that evening, maybe 8 that evening, and you're like, oh yeah, I gotta go on a 206 mile bike ride tomorrow. And not only that, but I put pressure on myself to finish the 5th time. Not only that, I put pressure on myself to try to knock 3 hours off last year and finish to beat the sun. Not only that, but I have my friend Jeff and Paul who say, hey, ride with us all day long. And you know what it's like to try to keep up with somebody all day long. And here we go. And then you got family in town helping out and everything. So it's a busy weekend.
All of those goals, we might add, Bobby achieved.
All the goals I did achieve this year, yes. Yeah. That was a weird feeling to yeah, anyway, we'll get to that a little bit later. So Great race, great ride. Matt Stevens, you want to talk a little bit about Matt?
Yeah, Matt is new to the gravel scene this year, but he's been making a splash. Former self-proclaimed roadie. Wasn't going to continue on the road so much this year, and happened to be picked up by local strongman Bob Cummings and his Panaracer squad. And for the past 12 months or maybe a little more, he has just been dominating at all the gravel races he's gone to. And he had a strong showing at Dirty Kanza with a first place victory and a near record time. I think this year's course was just a mile or two longer, so the moving time was nearly identical. So I think we can call that close enough to a tied record. But producer Matt caught up with Matt Stevens, and so let's just hear from the man himself.
Matt Stevens, who comes in at 10:48.14. Incredible time, incredible conditions. Just how are you feeling, Matt?
Pretty good now. Feeling great when you win. So out there it was tough, and you got a lot of time to think. So issues with cramping and hydration and food, and there's a lot of time to go through different emotions and different states of health.
What were the emotions like as you're coming down the final chute and as you cross the finish line as the champion of this event?
That's why you race bikes. And that's the main reason you want to win solo right there, is you can soak it in. You win a sprint and you won and everything. You don't know till the very end, but to have the crowd around you as you enter town or down the main street here, so that's feels good. You get goosebumps for sure.
Very close race, it looked like, for most of the race. When did you pull away, or what stretch did you start to gain some ground?
We had all the checkpoints, blended together. I mean, somewhere we were talking, all these hills look the same now. So, yeah, it gets confusing. But coming into checkpoint 2, halfway, we had 11 guys. Finally, all got everyone rotating somewhere before that, around, say, 85 miles or something. Checkpoint 2 is crazy. You got to do this turn, and everybody's everywhere, and you exit, and I had trouble finding my crew. And then you got to, how many guys are up the road, who we missing, what's the status, and took off of there and had 10 left. Still everyone participating, hitting the front, just cruising. All those guys with problems all day long. You just want to ride within yourself and keep those guys from coming back. And hey, these 10 guys are going to decide the race, and that's what you want, and get everyone to do. But then they just weren't participating. They just weren't holding the wheel. Guys are getting tired, and that's when you got to break it up. And so making some moves on some hills, and whether it's guys not holding the wheel or not working, or guys getting gapped off a little bit and coming back, so everybody's in a different state. You got some guys that are, all right, I feel good, I want to pull through, and you got other guys on the back not pulling through. So we gotta get it down to who wants to go to work. And say 80 miles to go is they letting the wheels go and everything, and I just rode super slow into the bottom of the hill, so nobody wanted to pull. And I said, sorry, all right, we're gonna go slow. We're gonna go about 12 miles an hour into the base, and from there I just kept accelerating all the way to the top, and we got 4 guys. And once I saw that, just smashed it over the top. So had a little tailwind, little turns and everything. So we had our 4 guys at the front of the race, and one guy unfortunately fell off the pace about 5 miles after that. So then I was down to the top 3, and from there we were just, all right, just keep everybody from coming back. And that was rough, because 70 miles ago, made all these efforts. I was starting to cramp. Other guys were starting to cramp. Everybody's in different states, and trying to, contribute, keep our guys from coming back, and make that the top 3. We all contributed, and I finally stopped trying to cramp at 20 miles ago, and that's when I was like, okay, I feel good. And when I feel good, it's time to make it pay. And when you don't feel good, you just hold on. And 20 miles ago, I started hitting the front harder and harder, just pulling through, and it was good crosswind out there a little bit, so it made the guys hurt. And attacked 10 miles out, dropped one guy, and attacked probably 4 or 5 miles out and dropped the other. And I don't know what my gap was, maybe 35 minutes, I don't know, but felt good.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
First timer here, correct?
First time.
Did you have an idea of what you were getting yourself into?
I mean, no. You have some expectations. People tell you what's going on or how lay of land, but it's totally unknown, and it makes you nervous. But you just got to focus on things in your control. Not worry about that stuff. Race the race. You know how to race, and if you're gonna be the strongest, and then it's gonna play out, and you're gonna win. And if you have mechanicals and flats and run out of water, like that's gonna be your day too. So can't be worried about that. Just plan and focus on things in your control, and see what happens.
What did you think of the atmosphere here? Is this unique? I mean, you've been to races all over the place.
Yeah, it's a lot of people and a lot of crews and families and everything, and it's not a small town by any means, but the whole town gets behind it for sure, and the region, and everybody's talking about it. Everybody knows someone that, especially up here in the Midwest, and guys traveling and everything like that too. So it's the premier gravel race, and that's why we put it on the calendar.
Thanks, Corbin, for chatting with Matt Stevens there, the DK men's champion. But as exciting as that was to see the first 200-miler come across the line, I got to tell you, the most exciting race of the day was the women's class. Mostly because of the talent we had, but also because after 206 miles, for the second time in history, we had a Petaluma, California native take it to the line in a sprint. And two-time defending champ Amanda Nauman was beat out by Alison this year. But what a valiant chase she put on. What an interesting race she made it. And what a wonderful new champion we have in Alison Cedric. Alison, if you're not familiar, is a professional road racer with Silence road team. And this woman has stood on the podium on the team time trial in the World Championships. So we are seriously talking some of the top brass of female cycling here. And again, Corbin was able to catch up with Alison. Let's hear from her.
Hi, I'm Alison Cedric. I race for Silence Pro Cycling. It's a women's world tour team, and we're sponsored by Cannondale, and obviously our title sponsor is Silence. So I race all over the world for the team, and just got done doing the Amgen Tour California. This year I also did the Pan American Championships for the USA national team, and just been traveling around racing my bike. And I asked a special favor of the team and also Cannondale to be able to compete at the Dirty Kanza, because Rebecca Rush, who you guys all of course know, and Yuri, who won in 2015, are good friends of mine, and they always look like they're having so much fun. So I had a little bit of FOMO, and I really wanted to come out here and see what it was all about. So really happy I made the trip.
Did it live up to the hype?
It left up to, it was the hype and more. I'm very impressed with the after party block party here in town. It takes over the whole town. Love how it really engages with the entire community. But also super impressed with how many people were up at 5:30 in the morning, because I didn't want to be up that early.
What were the course conditions like? I mean, what was it out there?
It was pretty dry. I think I only had to get off once for a muddy kind of water crossing that was really, really muddy. The rest I could stay on. And so I think they were pretty fast. So I did break the course record today. So, I mean, either I'm fast or the conditions were fast.
I'm going to go with both.
Okay.
Were you fending on, you and Amanda are coming down the stretch there. Was it pretty neck and neck the entire time?
Amanda caught me with 40K to go. I had ridden a very, very long solo 80 miles by myself. I wanted to stay with the front men's group as long as I could, so I was with them for 90 miles. And the problem with that is I had a very long solo therapy session for a while. So I was even talking to myself a couple times.
What are you telling yourself?
I said, we've got this. And I said, who's we? Is it me and my bike, or is it I've got this? I didn't know which one. So I started kind of I was congratulating myself for making over river crossings without unclipping. I was telling myself, great job, good girl. I have no idea. It was a full dialogue.
Walk me through the finish there. Just what's going through your mind?
I thought I could. I probably had a little better jump. I was cramping really badly for the last 35 miles. So I was suffering. I'd never ridden my bike over 122 miles.
Wow.
So preparation wasn't necessarily ideal for a race duration like this. So I might have paid the price for going so hard early, but I also wanted to capitalize on some of the race fitness that I have. So going to the finish, I was like, be smart, be smart, be smart. And it paid off. But Amanda was incredible today. She was so strong. And when she came up to me, 40K to go, she has this thing that she says, Panda Power. And when she'd pull through, I'd be like, oh, Panda Power is up. So it's the real deal, and she's a true champion.
The emotions when you cross the finish line, what are you feeling?
I was just so excited to be done. Also really excited to finish strongly here and represent those people that support me, and even the local people that I just met the last couple days I've been here. So I've been talking about the Army assembling for having me go to Dirty Kanza, because I didn't even think that it was a reality until things start coming in, like a bike and from Cannondale. LeLan setting me up with all the tools for flat fixing, as well as the GPS, which I'd never used turn by turn. Okay. And so that was a whole new thing, unsupported ride. So I'm used to follow cars and race courses. So this was a whole new adventure for me. Even all my road sponsors like Speedplay Pedals and Chamois Butters actually, who gave me the entry. So. Really? Very, very necessary for 200 miles, I'm just going to say. So I realized then it was a reality about a week ago when these products start coming in. I'm going, oh, so I actually have to ride 200 miles. They go, you're the one that wanted to do this. I was like, why? So, and then also just coming here into town and meeting the local bike shop, Gravel City, needing to order tires in real quickly, having them set that up, and Cannondale being here as well, and just realizing how much preparation it takes to do a self-supported event, which I had never done before. I'm not very good with directions, so a couple times I was like, where are we going? What? So for me, it was a learning experience for sure. But yesterday I participated in the women's forum here, and Gravel City had a huge thing to get 200 women doing 200 miles. So they had over 200 women doing this event, which is incredible. Yeah. And I was up on stage with athletes like Rebecca Rush, Celine Yeager, and these incredible women and how much they do for women's cycling. And yesterday we talked about mantras, and so I had a lot of their mantras going in my head, like finding your namaste and keep your momentum forward and look after yourself. So I had some very wise people helping me.
Well, you're an elite group now. Wow. And with a record time. Thank you for joining us.
So as Alison mentioned there, this was a lot of firsts for her. First time riding gravel, first time riding more or less self-supported. Again, the pro lifestyle usually entails having the wheel car follow behind you. And for those that know Dirty Kanza and know gravel, that is not what this is about.
Definitely not.
First time navigating a course on her own. And so what a class act. I think she had to pull in more than just her physical prowess on this one to be able to pull the victory out. But it's always nice to hear from the front of the pack. But we really want to know the stories from the middle of the pack.
The middle of the pack.
Or the top third of the pack. And the casual cyclist over here happened to finish in the top third of all finishers, which is a not so casual finish, but you always take a casual approach to it. So I would love to hear how your day went on the bike.
I'll tell you how my day went. First, I want to say, you talk about mid-pack. Give a shout out to David Sheik, a friend of mine, who has coined the new phrase for me, hashtag mid-pack attack.
Mid-pack attack.
That's what we're going to be hashtagging, the mid-pack attack. All of us that are in the mid-pack attack.
Absolutely.
Because there are a lot of stories there in the mid-pack. I think front to back, you suffer just as much as anybody else, just in different ways. Whether it's a long day, a short day, hard intensity day, but you're all suffering out there. And So shout out to everybody who towed the line of the DK and everyone who finished the DK, rode the DK. It was a great day out there.
Very quickly, before you get into your day,
yeah.
I think it's worth mentioning, and you can see this on Neil Shirley's Instagram. We talked about the sprint finish for the women's victory, but I retract what I said earlier because the best race of the day was the sprint finish to make the cutoff.
Yeah.
Sharon Morihone and forgive me, producer Matt's going to fill in the name of the other gentleman, the last two riders, but it was a sprint to beat the final cutoff time of 3 a.m. and they both did it with less than a minute to spare. So talk about exceptional stories. Everyone went through something grueling.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and that's the case. You can call it's a gravel race, but really it's a gravel challenge. And for all levels, we all have our own personal challenges. My challenges that I put on myself years ago was to finish 5 times and get the Chalice Cup. Wanted to do that. Wanted to walk across the stage, have a reason to be up on the stage. And then the other reason, a couple years ago, was to try to beat the sun, which at the time, I think my best time was 20 hours. So it was a big leap from there to there. So anyway, yeah, put my training time in. The day went really well. I can't complain too much. I had the typical things that every one of us have out there. Hot spots on the feet. My stomach held up, but I had, what else did I tell you about today?
How was your rump for?
Yeah. I had saddle
hours.
soreness from about mile 70 on. So I went through a lot of chamois butter, whether I needed it or not, just to have an excuse to pull over and take my seat off the bike. So checkpoint crew was spot on, my wife and family. I had to apologize to them after the 3rd checkpoint. I was so focused on getting in and getting out that this year was much more of I need this, move on. So 3rd checkpoint, I got ready to roll out. My wife came up and said, "You're not in a very good frame of mind right now, and that needs to be fixed." So first thing I did was, as I rolled out of town, sent my wife a text, said I apologize for my attitude today, put the phone back up and turned on a little bit of music, no headphones, just a little bit of music. Attitude was changed. She was right. She, and that's her spot as a crew, is to tell you what you need to hear, and that's what I needed to hear. The other spot of the day, I want to give a shout out to Randy Smith, who also finished his 5th DK. Yes.
Local favorite.
Yes, hometown powerhouse, local favorite. Finished his 5th DK and beat the sun for the first time ever. He helped me out. Just the little shout outs that we all do for each other. Halfway through the race, when you just tell someone, you give someone a clap on the back, love you, Bobby, that kind of a thing. That is what it means to be out on gravel and complete these events, is helping people out, whether it's verbal or whether it's mechanical. And that's what we all need to keep in mind, I think, as we take on these challenges going forward, is always remember to help somebody out. Give someone a smile. Give someone a pat on the back. Sing them a Christmas carol. Jeff hates that, but it makes him go faster. So I had a great day. I love the Dirty Kanza, and that's why. It's a challenge event that we can all hope to overcome someday. Come out a little bit stronger.
Yeah, I think, I don't know how much more I can add to that, but it's wonderful to set those goals on the gravel, but remember that even the best laid plans, they're very likely to unravel, or they're not going to at least go exactly the way you want. And you've got a couple choices. You can be all angry and mope about it, or you can put a smile on your face and say, I'm out here riding my bike in some beautiful country with some amazing people, and I'm going to choose to be happy about that, even if I'm not reaching the goals that I thought I had for myself. So good points to keep in mind.
Okay. Summertime's coming up.
Yeah,
not to move on too quickly from that. But
speaking of gravel goals.
Speaking of gravel goals. Now, I want to real quickly, in the Midwest where we're at right here, we have right up our interstate, we have Land Run, we have Dirty Kanza, and we have Gravel Worlds. Mm-hmm. There's a whole lot of U.S. around, not just us. So, right. So what we're about ready to get into is here, at least locally. During the next few months, things kind of wind down a little bit before they ramp back up. I'm sure there's other great events out there, but we'd like to hear a little bit about what you do during the months of June and July in your area for gravel racing, gravel riding, gravel challenges.
Yeah, we want to hear your gravel goals. So get on Facebook, share with the hashtag gravel goals, and tag Gravel Guru Casual Cyclist if you'd like to throw that in there, and let us know what you're up to. We want to know, because it's a hot time of year. There's not as many rides going on, and we want to see what you're up to this summer.
Right. And we want to know where it's not hot. Because if it's not hot somewhere, then we might just show up and ride there.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Especially if you send us gas money.
Yeah.
So.
And if you're struggling with any summer goals, let me throw a few out there to you. If you want to beat the heat, join us for Lunar Kanza on Saturday, August 12th. Registration is open now. You can go directly to bikereg.com and search for Lunar Kanza, or you can find it through dirtykanzapromotions.com. It is a fun 50-mile night ride. It is a blast. Complete 180 from Dirty Kanza. The whole vibe is about getting out there and just enjoying yourself. It's not a race. And in true Emporia fashion, it's just a good time, a good event to be a part of. And then this is not for the summer, but registration opens this coming Saturday, June 17th, for our new event, Rush the Rails, which will be October 7th, which is a Fondo-style ride on the Flint Hills Nature Trail. And I am very excited about this. This is a point-to-point event. It's basically a rolling party all along. Every checkpoint is going to be not so much a checkpoint as it is a party, with live music going on, food, vendors, and atmosphere in every stop. So going to be a lot of fun, culminating with a fantastic finish line party in Council Grove. So no Q&A this week, and I know that really bums out Bobby because he loves imparting his knowledge and wisdom.
I do. I like to talk.
But that gives you an opportunity before our next show to send in your questions. You can tag This Is Gravel with your questions. Send them directly to the Casual Cyclist or Gravel Guru. We'd love to answer your questions. Again, reminder, send in your gravel goals for this summer. Let us know what you're up to.
Gravel goals.
That's all I've got, Bobby. What else?
That's all I got. Let's go ride a bike. Bye.